Good morning, good morning, good morning. Today is Thursday. We have ended another week. Well, not virtually ended, we have subsided on Thursday, another week of the legislature. So I'm here to update you on what's happening this week, Monday through Thursday, what's going on and what you need to look out for. This week in Missouri legislature, first of all, we started off the African American senators in the Missouri Senate. We started off by giving tributes this week to Black Americans who have done outstanding things that impacted the country. As a matter of fact, I did Dr. Martin Luther King and talked about, the impacts of protesting and how the law had tried to restrict his protesting and stop the protesting back then, and how Martin believed, because he was a Baptist preacher, that, in order to seek a peaceful protest, he would reap justice. I think you will find that in the book of James 3:18. It was his hope that if he planted a seed of peaceful protest, he would reap a seed of justice. And I think that in some semblance, he did achieve some of the things that he set out to achieve before his life untimely ended. So we're doing different ones. I know Maya Angelou was done today, and we'll be doing different ones throughout the month of February. If you want to tune in, you can go to senate.mo.gov and you can click on live debate and you can listen to the audio live. So we definitely encourage you to do that. We go in at 10 a.m. most mornings, and we go from like 10 a.m. to probably about 12 noon. We recess to go into community hearings where we hear from the public in reference to bills, and then we come back into session at 2 o'clock, and it can go on continuously. For example, our first bill we debated this week was COVID liability. And COVID liability basically is dealing with giving immunity to businesses, hospitals in reference to COVID lawsuits. So it was a 15-hour debate. We had some concerns with the bill, and one of the main concerns I had with the bill is that we're not given a blanket immunity that will cover bad actors who were intentional about denying or doing the proper things that were called for by the scientists, by local government, and that caused someone to inadvertently be impacted by COVID-19. So like I said, the debate went from 2 o'clock one afternoon to 5:30 a.m. the next morning. So we did come to some consensus, and you will see that bill was Senate Bill 51. So if you want to look at the Senate bill on COVID liability, I urge you to do that, especially if you're a small business owner or if you are somebody who have been impacted by your job in reference to COVID-19, because you need to let your voice be heard while this bill is traveling through the process. Some other things that we did in committee was we had in the Judiciary Committee, we had a couple of bills. Senate Bill 60, which is supposed to be a police reform bill, and it was trying to prohibit no-knock-warrants, sexual interaction between law enforcement officers and those in their custody, police chokeholds. It was dealing with, reforming some reforms that were necessary that came out of some of the protests and things that were discussed prior. There was a lot of things in the bill that got taken out of the bill, but we do still have some reforms still in the bill. Now, the other bill, which was Senate Bill 53, is removing the residency requirement for Kansas City. Now, Kansas City, Missouri is a larger geographical area than St. Louis City in Missouri, and so they have a lot of opportunities to live in other places. So the debate went on in reference to, should police officers live where they are serving? And some police officers want to live other places but yet serve in Kansas City. So that debate has went on. They combined the Senate Bill 53 and the Senate Bill 60 together. I voted no on that because I felt like it was two different pieces of legislation. One of them dealt with reform, police reform, and the other one was a controversial piece on residency. So I didn't think the two should have been combined. We also dealt with, in the Rules Committee, we dealt with a resolution which is calling on the Missouri Department of Revenue to refund the sales and use tax paid by certain Missouri businesses as a result of audits that were done by the department that they conducted from 2005 and 2015. The resolution now heads to the Senate floor. It's asking the department to refund those sales and use tax that was paid by our Missouri businesses. So you'll see more on that. That is Senate Concurrent Resolution 2. That is a good read. You want to follow that piece of legislation as well. We've also begun the Appropriations Committee. In the Appropriations Appropriations Committee, we've heard 2 bills so far this week, and those bills have dealt with video lottery terminals and also sports betting. So we're trying to bring Missouri into the sports betting that other states have already passed. Also video lottery terminals that other states have already passed. So you want to pay attention to that legislation because there's a debate going on as to where these things will be located, who they will impact, and different aspects of the bill. So stay tuned to that. We've also just started the appropriations process. We've heard from the Department of Labor. This is where each department comes to present their budget to the Appropriations Committee. So we've had the governor's recommendations were presented. We've had the Department of Corrections. I think we're going to hear the Department of Labor. We've also had the Office of Administration. Stay tuned to that. That's our Appropriations Committee. If you go on senate.mo.gov, you click on Appropriations. You can click on those tabs, look at those bills that have been assigned to that committee. You can click on those bills and read about it. We're dealing with approximately a $35 billion budget for the state. Some of those funds are statutorily mandated to be paid, and some of it is discretionary funding that goes to different entities. So you want to pay attention to that. That's what we're looking at. The biggest thing that happened this morning in appropriations is 2 weeks ago, the federal U.S. Treasury released money. I think the state of Missouri received about, $410 million to appropriate for rental assistance for those renters who may have been unable to pay their rent according to COVID, and also for landlords who have not been getting rent as well. So each one can apply for that funding. We have 7 counties that got their money straight from the federal government, and one of those counties is St. Louis County, St. Louis City, but you can look it up. The money is going to be handled through MHDC, Missouri Housing Development Corporation is where the money is going to be handled. You go to their website, and I think you can go to that website and find out how you apply for those dollars. Those entities like St. Louis County and St. Louis City, I think you have to apply through your local government, but you can also apply to the state if you're not getting any recourse. So I suggest that you do that. The money came in about 2 weeks ago, so you want to do that if you need rental assistance. It was House Bill number 16. We voted that out today, supplemental budget. If you look at it and read it, you'll find out how much those funds are and where that money is going. So I just wanted to give you an update. That is some of the things that happened this week in the legislature. Stay tuned. I hope you share this podcast on Smart Politics. We want to get your comments. We want to hear from you. And if you have any information you would like us to share, we'll be happy to do that. Thank you, and stay tuned. Senator Karla May.